Okay, finally, we are back on with audio and video and light and lots of energy. So welcome again to Money Lessons with FQ Mom and Sons. This is FQ Son number 1. We have an FQ Son takeover for today's show, right? So again, welcome to the FQ Mom and Sons Kumu Show, ang weekly Thursday habit ninyo when it comes to learning about money lessons, kung saan pinag-uusapan natin ang ating mga money lessons to improve both our IQ at EQ patungkol sa pera. My name is Martin Fausto. I am FQ Son number 1, founder and managing director of Brandem, a branding and leadership development firm where we help people have a clearer view of their career path. So, yes, ang meron dito, Allison, no, is we'll be talking about ano ba mga money lessons ang meron when it comes to marrying into a different culture or probably living abroad, right? So, gusto ko lang mga musta sa ating community and sa ating Facebook audience. Ang question natin, di ba? November 25 na, 1 month before Christmas. Please share in the chat. Ano ang mga plans ninyo sa 13th month pay? Okay, ano ang mga plans ninyo sa 13th month pay? Direct pa-flash naman ang ating question. Especially for those na baka nanonood ay naka-mute mode lang sila. But our question is, what are your plans sa inyong 13th month pay? Please share naman sa chat kung anong plans natin. 13th month pay. Oh my God. 1 month na lang. Pasko na. Ilang buwan na lang. 2 taon na ang pandemya. Oh my God. Can you believe it? Dami na nangyari. Hello. Sabi ni Clara, pambayad sa utang po. Ay, salamat. Yes, we have to pay our debts, ang mga utang, lalo na ang mga may interest expense. Bayad sa lupa. Nax, Mikmik, I love it. Investing in real estate. Yan. Allison, kaso wala pang 13th month. Okay, edi, ano gagawin sa ating next sweldo, di ba? Sweetie, hello, wala po kasi, wala kaming 13th month pay. Oh my God! Ella, hindi pa nagka-13th month. Ubos na. Paano ba yan? Dagdag pang down payment, sabi ni Berna, for another condo unit. I love it. Okay yan, no? So for the 13th month pay, I hope na you use this as really a bonus, no? As a breather. Not to shop only, not to buy Christmas gifts only, but sana, no, you get to pay your debts, you get to invest in that item na talagang matagal nilang iniisip. Like somebody mentioned yung pang-lupa, pang-condo, di ba? And for others, even look at ways to start investing kung hindi pa tayo nakakapag-start mag-invest. So like Jewel also said here, yes, to invest at may angel at may heart, right? Ang magandang tanong nga ni Miles, paano nga ba magkaroon ng 13th month pay kahit walang trabaho? E di, gumawa muna tayo ng CV, gumawa tayo ng resume para mag-apply. Di ba? And for those na walang 13th month pay, please use this opportunity to save up. Right? Hindi porket Christmas ay kailangan bumili ng mamahaling regalo. Even acts of service, pwede. If you want to bake or cook on your own, pwede. Di ba? So, yan talaga ang ating pwedeng maging advice para dyan. At napapansin natin, dumadami na rin ang mga nagpapakasal at natutuloy ang kasal. Alert level 2 dito sa Metro Manila. And with that, no, people are feeling more safe into getting married and going on with their plans in life. So thankfully, people are getting vaccinated more, making it safer for everyone to live our lives in the better normal. Okay. Yeah. So, let's talk about ano ba tong magiging topic natin for today. So, our guest is the CEO of Near Creative, a global social media and influencer marketing firm. She also has a podcast titled Unlearning with Us. So for those na mahilig mag-podcast, Unlearning with Us is a show that talks about unlearning Asian mentalities. Okay, ano ba yung mga common Asian mentalities or mga very conservative or traditional ways of living our lives, but may not be applicable to our modern realities. She's joining us today, our guest, to talk about a lot: running an online business remotely, what she would encourage us to unlearn, and money lessons of living abroad and being married to a foreigner. More importantly, our guest, looking back, I think we've been friends for more than 13 years. High school pa. Neneng-nene pa siya, tote na tote pa ako, pero ano na siya, successful entrepreneur and CEO. So let's welcome our guest, Roxi Lim Biribicchi.
Hello!
Woo!
Hello, everyone! You,
All
nagpapa-shout out si user 117972999.
right. Is this your first time on Kumu Rocks?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay, so
Pero it's a
baka
warm welcome naman.
yay! So we actually have more than 2,000 live viewers here on Scene Zone, and I think they're quite excited to learn more about money lessons when it comes to living abroad, marrying a man of a different culture, running a business remotely, etc., etc. And also here on Facebook, marami rin hello. Like our Christian saying hi Roxy, and our other
Hi!
viewers. Okay.
Hi there.
So, Roxy, baka you could tell us a bit about yourself so that our viewers would get a better idea of who you are.
Yeah, so I think Martin's already was able to summarize who I was in a nutshell, but we've been friends nga for 13 years, which is crazy to think that it's almost more than half my life. Diba?
Yeah, grabe.
Which is insane. And I started Near Creative, which is an influencer marketing firm and social media firm around 4 years ago then. Um, and have been living in Switzerland since 2018. So parang I was thinking then back then, how do I bring my business into my love life? like
Well, again,
like
paano, how do you bring your business into your love life? Okay.
yeah, like how do I make sure that alam mo yun, we can still stay together, we can still be happy, hindi kami mag-LDR, lalo na nag-COVID. But at the same time, still keep my dream of having my own company and yeah, being able to combine the two things. Marami pang
When was
nagpapa-shoutout. Bea Mona,
Oo nga eh,
Felicitas.
sina Felicitas,
Hi.
Bea, hello, salamat sa mga pahalo-halo kay Jennifer, kay Marie Mara, kulang na lang Marie Marga. So, I was curious, no, and I've never asked
Mhm.
this. When was that point
Uy,
in your life na inisip mo na, wait, I have to bring my career dream of running a business into my love life? Because those are two very important aspects, di
mhm.
ba? So, when was the point in your life na, wait, kailangan ko siyang isabay?
I mean, I always wanted to have my own business naman talaga ever since I was young. And then start ko siya here in the Philippines, maybe yun nga 2017. Pero we decided kasi na we wanted to try living in Switzerland as well for the future and yeah, to see if when we'd have kids it would work out as well. Um pero initially mahirap when I first moved kasi my clients were here, time difference, tapos I didn't feel like Switzerland was my home. Parang everything was connecting me pa rin here. So
Mm.
I decided to actually get a job there with German speaking people, try to learn the language. And eventually, I started to feel na I was already building my roots there. I already felt na may friends na ako, hindi na ako lonely. Um,
Mm.
when I started to
Nakapag-assimilate ka
feel
na.
more grounded, yeah. When I started to feel more grounded, that's when I thought, okay, kaya ko na to. I can start doing this whole remote business thing again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So a bit of context lang to our viewers. Um, si Roxy is married to a Swiss Italian, fun guy, super bait. You wouldn't expect him to actually have a Pinoy heart. His name is Alessio Biribicci. Roxy, baka you could tell us, how did you guys meet? Did you meet? I mean, so guys, matagal na sila. I mean, this is not a pandemic love
Romance.
story or a romance story. But can you tell us, how'd you guys meet? Tapos, yun muna. How'd you guys meet?
Oh, it's such a long story, but we met in 2011. Tapos basically exchange student siya. And then I was managing the exchange students here. Tapos friends kami for a really long time, like mga 3, 4 years. Wala talagang interest, like super platonic. Same on his side. No interest at all. Kasi we were also in other relationships. Um, Tapos eventually, they both broke up with us in a very similar way. so,
So,
so
so we
parang,
were both committed when you guys met, diba?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So parang the pain and the heartbreak brought us together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's long story short.
Okay.
And yeah, it's nakakatawa nga yung bio niya on Instagram is actually Pinoy sa puso.
Mm.
Yeah,
I have a
it's so
question. No?
parang it's the
So,
same thing you said.
okay. So before I want to just ask a follow-up question, but
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Miriam and Sheila. Salamat sa newbie loves you.
Thank you.
Mga padala. Okay, let's do that pala. Here. Ganyan. Ganyan pala. Hirap na ito. Alright, so ang follow-up question natin, ang follow-up question was, did you find it difficult to be in a relationship with somebody who grew up in a different place, spoke a different language? I mean, you speak English, Filipino, Chinese. He speaks English, Swiss
Swiss
German,
Italian.
Italian, French.
Yeah, he
Ba?
speaks six
Also?
languages.
Six languages. Oh my god.
Oo
And
nga
the
eh,
only
medyo
language
exag.
na the only language that you guys connect was English and of course body language. So how was that in the beginning? Like how did that work out?
Um, I mean, if hindi siya nag-English, it would be a difficult journey. Pero luckily, the both of us were pretty fluent. So you know what I mean. You were able to also communicate deeper and more meaningful topics. Na not just like what do you like to eat or like what's your favorite color, but also, um, you know, what are your non-negotiables in a relationship, things like that.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah, I
Nice. So
think
it really is like a normal relationship.
yeah. For in our case, I think it was. I don't
Mhm.
think there was a lot of cultural differences between us per se. Pero sa siguro mas napansin namin with our families na there were differences.
Mhm.
Um pero with each other naman it was yeah, we were very honest and open.
You said kanina na in his Instagram, sinabi niya na pusong Pinoy.
Yeah.
So what aspects of like how would you describe Alesso to be a Pinoy?
Super family oriented. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, talagang family comes first. And now that I'm his family, and like I also definitely see na he always prioritizes me over everything else. But also the way he treats his mom, you know, like
Mm,
kunyari helping in terms of helping her cook sa kitchen, like wala yung pa-macho-macho, but more like ano talaga, he's very, um, yeah, very maalaga. So I think that's very Filipino.
mm.
Tapos very warm din siya, hindi yung parang sobrang reserved na doesn't want to open up. Corny rin yung
Okay.
mga jokes niya, like you.
Tito jokes din siya.
Tito and daddy jokes. And that's super Filipino rin for me.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, among other things.
Oh, nice. So in that relationship, no, could you tell us when was the first time you guys talked about money? And were there any
Money.
cultural differences about it or ways of looking at it?
The first time we talked about money was when we lived together na rin eh.
Okay.
Um, pero honestly, we had a very similar mentality, and that was na what's mine is yours. What's yeah, na parang walang concrete
Akin to,
division.
sa'yo yan. Mm.
Yeah, masyadong naging headache yun para sa amin to think about ano ba yung mga expenses, let's have it straight in the middle. Parang yung naging mindset namin was really like, no, we're in this together. This is our money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me. And I think
Okay.
sobrang lucky kami in that sense na never kami nag-away about money actually. Like, really
Oh,
never.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Okay. So, in that context, no, did that decision come about nung kasal na kayo o bago kayo nagpakasal? Yung what's yours is mine, mine is yours. Diba usually pang married couples yun? But in
Hindi,
your
we
case ba,
talked
was it?
about it na. Yeah.
Okay.
Pinag-usapan na namin yon before kami nagpakasal. Because I think, especially before you get married, you should also, alam mo yun, have alignment in that respect na because I always read na the top three topics that people fight about are children, and then money, and then the third was ano ba? Di ko alam. I forgot na eh. Third party. The joke lang. But and so I think if those are the top three topics that couples fight about, dapat mag-align rin kayo before you get married.
That's true. Okay. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice to know. And this is and guys, no, for the viewers, even if you've known each other for like 13 plus years, I actually have never asked these questions
I know,
to
that's true.
Roxy. Grabe, ang public din ng ano natin. We have
That's okay.
2,400 plus viewers watching. And I'd like to give a shout out on also thanks. May nagpadala sa atin ng Suicide Squad. I think it's Marilyn somewhere, no? But also, si Clara wanted to ask, paano po ba kapag nag-aaway kayo? Kasi
Mm-hmm.
kapag, medyo alam naman natin how, let's say, people of the same culture, like a Pinoy couple, would fight. But how would you guys fight? And sino ba ang unang sumusuyo?
Good question. Paano ba? Kami, sobrang honest lang talaga in terms of how we feel. And palagi kong sinisigurado na it's communicated in a very calm way.
Calm. Mhm.
Data kasi, um, I don't know if you're familiar with Italian culture, pero diba medyo loud sila. Like,
Mhm.
if you have, yeah, if you're in a restaurant, they're just always shouting at each other. Hello, hello. So
Sila raw yung Pinoys ng Europe, di ba? Yung big families, food,
basically,
mga
yes. So
party. Mm.
I grew up in a more ano quiet household, let's say, because I grew up with my dad's side, who was the more Chinese side. So I think na mas nagulat ako when I went and met his family kasi it sounded like they were arguing pero hindi pala. They were just talking. Yung mga ganon. Um, Kaya initially, pag nag-aaway din kami, parang nagugulat ako sa tone ng Italians. But eventually, nag-tone down din naman kami sa isa't isa. Um, and in terms of sino yung sumusuyo, I think both of us do talaga, honestly. Depende talaga kung sino yung nagkamali. But from what I
Thanks.
noticed, hindi naman kami ma-pride in a sense na ayokong mag-sorry kasi palaging ikaw yung may kasalanan sa akin. I don't know, or something.
Correct.
Like,
Hindi parang porket siya yung lalaki, siya dapat yung sumusuyo.
never, never, never. It was always parang, inuunahan na namin yung isa't isa. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
always say sorry first, or he says sorry first. Yeah,
Okay. So
which I
you
think
meant,
makes your life easier, guys.
oh
So,
yeah. Sorry, di ba people kept saying na happy wife, happy life. Guys, may 50% na nakakalimutan. Paano isa?
so true.
Okay,
So
nice, no?
true.
And you mentioned that you grew up in a more conservative Chinese-Filipino background.
Mm-hmm.
What parts of your culture do you think, no? You've married ano ba, 3 years na ba? Or 4 years na?
Almost 4. It's so
Woo!
crazy.
Almost 4. Diba? Bilis. So,
Yeah.
what parts of your culture or our culture, Filipino culture, did you bring into the marriage?
um, actually, dinidiscuss ko to with my husband Alessio kanina. And then he was giving me suggestions.
Siya pa ang
And,
nagsasabi.
yeah, diba? Para honest. And the first one na inisip namin was food. Because the amount of importance that I put on food is like something he's never experienced in his life. Tas yung, diba in the Filipino context, like, pag may guest ka, you always have like so much food, you're always offered food. So parang ganun din yung, I think, something that I brought into the marriage.
Food.
Um,
As a love language, no?
yeah, exactly. And then the second thing that inisip namin was that, you know how Filipinos are medyo judgmental and critical, basically. I mean, not on naman on other people, pero on themselves then. Parang
Very hard on ourselves, no?
tumataba ka or like pumapayat ka. So I think I brought that in a sense na I always question where our marriage is, where it's
Hmm.
going, are we doing the right thing?
That's
While
a okay,
yeah,
yeah.
while Alessio is more like happy, 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 happy
Mas
forever.
steady siya, mas neutral siya.
Yeah. Never niya ko
Okay.
na-question kung ano yung direction. And I mean, there's a lot of, ano rin naman in that, a lot of things to learn from that then.
Nice. I
So,
like that. I like that. Yung food as the love language. And guys, no, actually Roxy and I, we studied abroad for a few months together on
oh
exchange
yeah,
program.
that's so
And
true.
so when we were in France, we both really missed Asian food. And I would go to her unit kasi alam ko nagluluto siya ng Asian food for sure. May kanin, may dim sum, and anything spicy nandun. So ko, okay, Rox, anong lutuin mo for dinner? Sige,
Yeah,
punta na ako dyan.
exactly.
Alright, so ganda, no? And you said being critical in a sense na not just nega, but you also check in. Parang it's also a check in
Yeah.
for you na where are we now? Saan tayo pupunta? Para hindi I guess part of your upbringing na you don't just let things happen by themselves.
Yeah,
Diba?
na
Parang
parang,
you have
yeah, palaging may goal, palaging may tinatanong. And yung last na inisip namin basically is that medyo pasaway ako as a person. So,
pasaway, in what sense? My gosh.
um, pasaway in a sense na, if my guidelines and my rules, I don't always follow them. So I always think, bakit? Nagme-make sense ba yan? Or something. And it applies in our marriage as well. Like, um, most people in Switzerland have a 9 to 5, tapos they go home, they're with their family, ganon. And I'm always like, how can we go against that guideline? How can we have the life that we want and not necessarily the life that society tells us to do? You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. So I think definitely Alessio never experienced someone who was also like
Pasaway.
pasaway.
That's nice. Feeling ko naman, it also took some time for him to get used to this. And from his perspective, no,
Yeah.
what parts naman of his culture? Kasi medyo nilito ako eh. Is he more Swiss, Italian, or German?
Um, Oo nga, nakakalito nga talaga.
Six
He grew up in
languages.
Switzerland. He grew up in Switzerland, but his dad is Italian. So I think he has a good balance of both sides.
Okay.
Italian siya in a sense na warm, open,
Mm,
friendly. Pero he's definitely Swiss in a sense na very relaxed,
okay.
very
Mas late.
content,
Okay.
very rule abiding.
Rule
So
abiding. Okay.
yeah, super, super. Like that, he had an NDA at work, and it was about ano lang, like, yeah, basta may NDA siya. So I asked him, just I didn't know na may NDA siya. So I asked him about a project he was working on. And then he told me, sorry, I have an NDA. I can't tell you. I was like,
Wow!
okay, rule abiding.
Tama, okey yun, okey yun,
Yeah.
Uy, thank you pala kay, John Sen Rex, and uy, ang dami na nagpadala.
Thanks,
I am the
guys.
bullet. Thank you so much sa pagpadala ng mga, gifts. Carlito loves you and we also love you. So what parts of being rule abiding, no? What other parts of his culture did he bring into your marriage that you have observed the past years?
Definitely contentment. So like I said, I always question everything. The Shahi really brought the sense of everything is great. We don't really have problems. Um Everything else can be solved. Yung ganun, that kind of mentality which I probably didn't have before. Na I was always, you know, this is not enough. We're not, alam mo yun, we're not in the right place yet. Shahi's more like we are supposed to be where we are right now, and then everything else
Hmm.
that happens later um will can happen. And if it doesn't, then it's okay then. Parang ganun yung yeah, mentality
Parang siya
niya.
yung calm mo sa storm mo. Tama?
Yeah,
Siya
yeah.
yung calm sa storm.
I'm
Okay.
the sky. Like I shoot for the sky and he's the ground. Parang he pulls me back down.
Nice. Okay. And anything else you'd like to share when it comes to what other parts of his culture did he bring to your marriage?
I think the last thing we thought about was na in Switzerland kasi everything works eh. Um
Ay,
alam mo
nako,
yun, like
hashtag sana all.
when you wanna go on the train, you know that it's gonna arrive at this time.
Okay.
When you want to go to work, you know you're gonna arrive at this time.
Okay.
When you want to apply for something like kunwari, yeah, social security, you know that it's gonna arrive or it's gonna come based on these factors. While here, parang minsan, may guidelines nga, pero hindi sinusundan, or, things like that. So I think kaya I guess, kaya I was always questioning everything nga. And siya, he's more like accepting all the
Mas
guidelines,
relaxed.
diba? Because he's used
Correct.
to it.
Actually, yeah, kasi if you grew up in, let's say, oh yeah, Philippines, third world country, if you grew up here, yung
Yeah.
parang, always have to ask. Kasi it's for survival eh. But if you grew up, let's say, in a more stable environment or like a first world country like Switzerland, things are working, so yung headspace mo will be focused on different things.
Yeah,
Not na
exactly.
anymore like the basics na if I cross the the street with the pedestrian lane, may dadaan bang kotse o wala? Dito kasi
Sasagasaan ba
parang,
ako today?
oo, dito parang patintero eh. Childhood game, yun pala yung
For
survival
sure.
tip eh. Okay,
For
nice.
sure.
So with this, I don't know, because a lot of our viewers are also asking, with money specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi Casey, thanks for joining us. We'll be talking about money lessons and realizations after being married for a few years now. So my first question would be, what money lessons did you keep from your culture entering into your marriage with Alessio?
Mm-hmm. I think because of the context that we have in the Philippines na you can't depend on the government. You have to rely on yourself talaga. Um, I always felt that the mindset I had was how to make more,
Earn
not how
more,
to
make
save
more.
more. Um,
Oh, okay.
so it was always parang that was my focus. And whenever we'd have discussions, it was the exact opposite with him. He would always say, let's just spend less on this, less on this, less on this. And I would be like, but we don't spend that much. Let's think about how we can make more of this, more of this. So I think I had more of a scarcity mindset. And,
That's not
sa
okay. That's
kanya
interesting.
more like, um, yeah, yun nga, how to save more na lang instead of making more.
Okay. So
And how to depend on what you already have. Yeah.
okay. So to our viewers, no, who just joined our discussion, hi Pags. for this one, we're talking about money lessons that Roxy has brought into her marriage with somebody who has a different culture and who grew up in a different place. Right. So
Yeah.
apart from, ang ganda na sinabi mo na scarcity mindset, na the focus is how do we make more as opposed to how do we save more. That's pretty interesting. And how did he take that? Like up to now, has is that still the same level of parang intensity na how do we make more? Or has it medyo toned down?
um I think up to now, yes. It's still my focus, and his focus is more definitely long term. Well, I'm
Hmm.
more like, how do I feel the money in my hands today, basically. And I think it's such a Pinoy mentality to, yun nga, na parang you have to depend on yourself, you can't depend on
Mhm.
the government. Sa kanya kasi, when yung worst case scenario, like let's say mawalan siya ng trabaho and stuff, he could get support from the government. And
May
it would
backup.
be, like 80% of his salary. So
Eighty,
you're never worried.
80
Yeah, 80% of your salary.
is taxed.
No, no, no. That's the support you would get from the government if you lost your job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ha? Talaga? Na-shock ako dun ah. Parang, why will you work?
Yeah, yeah. Pero they also keep track of like, alam mo yun, if nag-apply ka, ganyan. Like there are
Yeah.
processes naman to
Hindi naman
guarantee
yung
that
parang
people.
humingi ka lang talaga sa gobyerno. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
nice. So that's one. So yung that kind of like go go go, earn more, make more.
Yeah.
That's what you brought in. How about what did you drop naman? What money behavior did you drop or money lessons did you drop as you got married?
I think the biggest thing was the not having enough. So along with the making more, parang I always felt na, no, this is not enough. We need to make more. Ganon. And I think Alessio helped me realize na, na you can be happy and content rin with what you have, make it work. Ganon, not like always think about expanding. Na there's also
Mm.
time to enjoy kind of like,
The fruits of your labor.
yeah, the fruits of your labor, exactly.
So talaga no,
Yeah.
parang he's really the ground for you na you're the one na earn more, let's do this. Oh, ito yung gusto nating lifestyle. Tapos ikaw, atas siya, si Alessio. Okay, that's okay. But let's also enjoy it here. Let's smell the roses kind of
Yeah, pretty
approach.
much. Pretty
Okay.
much.
Anything else that you dropped when you got married with Mr. Swiss Italian Alessio?
um I never thought I'd say this in my life, but I now love insurance.
Ah, okay. Oh, tell me more
Before,
nga about it. Hmm.
yeah, before, because I would always think, oh, that's just additional expense. You would have to pay for different, alam mo yun, like things that won't help you naman in the long term, ganon. But since I moved to Switzerland, and I don't know if it works din here, there's this thing called personal belongings insurance, which
Ah,
guarantees
okay.
that your things that you own are protected, which
In case
means
of,
na
let's
pag,
say, theft?
yes, in case of theft, in case of it getting broken, in case you drop it, your phone, tas nasira
Broken?
siya, huh?
Okay. Broken?
You,
Kahit nasira mo?
yeah, yeah. So kung nasira mo siya, or someone, or like kunyari may bata in your house and then sinuntok niya yung TV or something, tas nasira yung TV. So those things are covered by this insurance, and then the insurance gives it to you, basically. So I don't know if this magical,
What?
beautiful thing exists in the
Ang dami
Philippines.
nagre-react sa ating mga viewers na parang, what? Hearts? Parang sana all. Shocks
Yeah.
talaga. Okay.
Tapos I actually told my team about it. Tapos sabi nila, pero ninanakawan yung mga tao every day. So, mababankrupt yung insurance.
Dito.
Yeah, so I don't know if it exists here actually. Pero this is like something magical that I discovered. So it happened numerous times na I dropped my phone, nasira yung glass, I needed to repair it, and then this insurance would cover it,
Oh my
you know.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So talagang you really won't, like, what are you worrying about? Like, honestly, like, if you live in Switzerland, what do people worry about?
First world problems. So more like alam mo yun, discrimination, freedom, that kind of thing. Like
Okay, okay,
um what car should I buy? Ang ganyan. I don't know. But
okay.
honestly,
Yes.
like yeah, first world problems.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. So, in terms of going specific to money habits, no, are there differences when it comes to money habits between, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
your upbringing as a Chinese Filipina and his upbringing as a Swiss Italian?
Yeah, like I mentioned, generally speaking, the Swiss people that we know are not worried about money kasi there are social security systems in place. Which means na in terms of habits, they don't have that scarcity mindset na I don't have enough. Um, palaging may savings after um the month,
Oh my
and
gosh.
a lot of the times they don't think how can I build a business, paano ako magnenegosyo, ganon. So most people we know have 9 to 5 jobs because it's good enough.
Because it's enough.
Wala yung mindset of side hustle, wala yung mindset of alam mo yun, yeah, putting up your own business nga. I mean, of course, there are people that put up their own businesses, but in just in terms of the people we've met, that's what we noticed.
I had
Well,
an
here
aha moment.
naman, sorry.
Yeah, I had an aha moment when you said na they don't really get to worry. Kasi dito, you feel secure if you have a lot of money.
Yeah,
There, it seems
exactly.
like you'll feel secure as long as you have a job.
Yeah.
But even
And
if you
even
don't
if
even have a
you have a
job,
job.
you get paid. You still get paid 80% of your salary as long as you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
you just feel secure no matter what, pretty much.
How
Um
difficult was it to adjust in that kind of mindset? Now bringing the scarcity mindset and living there. Parang did you feel like, am I stressing myself too much, or what kind of stress am I putting myself through? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. I definitely questioned my own mentality a lot. Parang worth it ba yung stress that I put on myself to always think about what more I can do. Um and I mean, yeah, obviously in our case, parang I realized na yun nga, sometimes it's good to also be happy with what you have and not
Mm-hmm.
always think about growing and expanding. And yeah, I think yun nga, since I mean like it makes sense din eh in our culture, yun nga, we can't depend on other people eh. We have to
Mm-hmm.
depend on ourselves talaga. Kaya marami talagang nagra-racket, marami talagang
Yeah.
nagsa-side hustle.
Yeah.
Um which also makes for more interesting conversations, Most of the people here always have other things going on aside from their job.
Correct. Yeah, kailangan. Parang part of survival and just really paying for the bills, paying for the
Yeah.
dreams. So I realized, no, like, as you were saying, these things on different mindsets, um, and going to the podcast that you are producing called
Mm-hmm.
Unlearning with Us, where you talk about what Asian mentalities do you encourage your listeners to unlearn. If we could ask you, what three things do you invite our listeners and
Mm-hmm.
viewers to unlearn when it comes to money?
Um, I think definitely yung I don't have enough to make my dreams happen is one thing. One common thing then that I hear from Filipinos and from a friend of mine also who has a money mindset podcast actually. Um, parang you always think I can't move out because I don't have enough, or I can't um save for this because I don't have enough. I always spend on um I always have so much expenses kaya hindi ko kaya. Um and I think the reality is it's about a mindset switch in terms of really determining what your priorities are, planning
Mm-hmm.
that out, and saving at like 100 pesos a month, to reach that goal. Um, yeah, so that's the first one. Um, the second one would probably be about um, making it the center and determination of whether you're successful or not as a person.
As in, like, it's
Because
the factor that measures your success.
yeah, when we
That's
talk about
something
successful people, kasi it's often who has the most
rich.
money, who has a good big business.
Correct, correct.
Um,
Kasi I think it's with the scarcity mindset nga.
yeah,
Like what you were
exactly.
mentioning kanina. Okay,
It
okay.
comes along with that. Versus kunyara thinking about success in other ways, like being happy. If you're
Healthy.
happy, healthy, like isn't that also successful? Um, and we don't do enough of praising other people for the kindness and the health happiness that they have. Parang when we praise others, it's always wow, ang galing, ang dami niyang pera or something. You know,
Mm,
um, like it's just a different mentality.
okay. So
And
so
then
far, no, it's the
yeah,
mentality, and then we're also talking about um, unlearning the money. Like, you don't have to have a lot of money to reach your dreams. But you can
mm-hmm.
reach your dreams, even if you don't have like a lot of money. And then probably the third thing that you invite our viewers to unlearn when it comes to money would be
The third thing would be the sana all ikaw na kind of mentality
Sige nga, can you expound?
wherein you always there's a hint of selos and a hint of envy na parang why is my life not like that, so there's always a sense of comparison, and that mentality I think just makes you so unhappy as a person because you're always like bakit hindi ganun yung life ko.
Mm,
So the recommendation for that would be instead to be thankful and grateful for what you have instead of like saying sana all ikaw na, like think about your own life friend and what you can be happy about and what you can be grateful for. Yeah, because you hear that a lot, parang how
oh
can I
yeah.
be how to be you, how can I be like you, you know
How to be you po. Sana
the question.
idol or
Yeah, the question you should
or
ask
Lodi.
yourself is the question you should ask yourself is like how do I become a better version of myself, not how do I become someone else, you
Ah,
know
nice, nice. Thank you for sharing those
yeah.
three unlearning tips. No, I like that. And napapaisip na ako dun sa scarcity mindset eh, na syempre, like me, I'm also hustling a lot. And parang,
Super.
minsan, oh my God, nakakapagod to na parang lagi nilang kulang, lagi nilang wala. Diba?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. That's some food for thought for our lunch break. And wow, it's 11:53. And hello to our 3,100 plus viewers on
You guys
Kumu.
want to say hi to Alessio?
Exactly. Yes, yes. Can we please say hello to
Alishu,
Alessio?
are you
Alishu. May
here?
pet name ka sa kanya.
Yeah,
May
Alishu.
pet name, Alishu. Does she have a pet name with you?
Actually, Alishu came from ano, kasi people here couldn't pronounce Alessio.
Ah.
So
Sige, let's meet si Mr.
just say
Pusong
hi.
Pinoy. Hi, Marilyn from Taiwan. Also, hi. Hati Angie and San Buena. Somebody also said hello from Zamboanga kanina eh.
Oh, wow.
Christine Joy Alinas. Hi from Zamboanga. Hello, Elishu.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
nice to see you. She was
I
saying that you
can't hear
have
you, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
she
Sorry.
was saying na you have pusong Pinoy daw, and she's so very proud of how you take care of her, you
Of
keep her
course.
calm, be the ground to her sky, and those things.
Well, I think it's a good combination. So I keep her grounded, and then she pushes me to reach for the stars.
Nice. Very well trained, well trained.
I did not train him to say that.
I got a whole briefing before the call. It's like, okay, these are the things you can say. These are the things you can't say.
Cool.
Or like at 11:55, I will call you and you have to say these things.
Cool. Nice seeing you, Alessio.
His hair's
Yeah.
long na, no?
Oh, my. Is he gonna have a haircut here, ma?
No.
Oh
This
no,
No.
he's
is
gonna
this
keep it. He's gonna keep it
this
long.
is this is his Prince Charming look. Tangled, the guy from Tangled.
Yeah, but they didn't have that long hair.
He did.
No,
Oh, okay.
she had long hair.
Cool.
I can dyed them
All
blonde.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Bye bye.
Nice seeing
See you
you.
soon.
Bye. All right. So as we wrap up, no, baka you would have, let's say, final words, when it comes to uh, like tackling different mindsets. It's
Mhm.
not. I mean, it's already a challenge to live in a different country, and then you add to that, marrying a family who is also has a different culture. But I'm glad to hear that the Italian side has a Pinoy factor with them. But for close to 4 years being married, living
Mhm.
through this pandemic, us together moving to the better normal. What
Mhm.
final words would you have, when it comes to people who are either getting tired or wanting to live abroad, or even those with relationships, with foreigners?
What advice do I have for people who are in relationships with foreigners?
Or like final words to
Hmm.
close it down.
Um, maybe in summary, like listen more than you talk would be a good like final sentence. Because sometimes you feel like you always need to get your opinion and your thoughts out there. You always feel like you need to um, have your way. But what I've learned from 4 years of marriage and 7 years of being together is, yeah, na minsan it's also about just listening a lot more and accepting a lot more than rather than making the other person adjust, you know.
Ganda. Ganda. I want to add to that. Tama yun. Communication, it starts with listening. And regardless if you're the same culture or not, in any relationship, for it to work, you really need communication. Whew,
Yeah.
wow. Grabe, Roxy. It's so nice to catch up with you.
I
Wait, after this
know.
show, I'll talk to you after this show. But just to wrap it up, Direct Sharon, baka we could show upcoming promos we have, to our viewers. So you could reach Roxy, at Near Creative. Um, what's the Instagram handle or the website? So if people are interested for any social media and influencer marketing, services from you guys,
That's a near creative agency. Yeah.
at Near Creative Agency. All right. Next up, what promos pa do we have? Direct, I think there is an FQ book promo for Christmas, for a minimum order of 999 that applies to Philippine addresses only. So buy any of the books below, and if you have, at least 999, you have free shipping. And syempre may sign pa yan and dedication. We'd also like to promote our services at Brandem for personal branding and leadership development so that you can have a clearer path, no, for your career clarity, right? And with IFE also, we also offer services on talking about the elephant in the room, which is money. So you can have better IQ and EQ when it comes to your personal money. We have one again. So a new article is out: behavioral insights on how people make personal financial decisions on ftmom. I sorry, no, that's not the article. That is a technical session today, 2 to 4 p.m. In partnership with Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Behavioral insights on how people make personal financial decisions. We have a few seconds left. Bibilisan ko na lang. I'd like to thank you for joining us here on Money Lessons with FQ Mom and Sons, talking about ways to unlearn things on money and relearn new insights on money. I'd like to thank Roxy for joining us this morning. It's been such a pleasure learning more about you. And Yun, thank you so much for joining us and also to our viewers.